Hello, Michelle.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
That's
Uh,
good. It's really hot here in London.
yeah.
Yeah, it's roasting. Anyway, so we're doing Foundation episode 9. It was a really cool episode. Absolutely loads happened.
Another corker.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was what we talked about last week. We said, oh, everything's going to happen on Terminus, and we were kind of right about that.
Mm.
Yeah, so where does this episode start off then?
Right. Yeah. So, Trantor,
Mentor.
600 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, a bit backstory.
So all of my because I thought where I got the 11,000 years old from for Demerzel, because I
Mm,
went back and watched season 1 again because there was like stuff I wanted to. I think we were talking about the solar system
yeah.
and things like that. And there's two interesting scenes from season 1. One happens in the first episode of season 1, and Demerzel's looking at a screen, or maybe it's a memory, and she's watching Neptune be destroyed.
Oh,
Yeah,
remember that?
came
Oh,
out of nowhere, right? And I do actually remember it, but you forget because there's so much going on. And then in episode 9 of season 1, that's where Salville's dad, Abbas, tells her about we might be from Alpha Centauri, not really sure,
yeah.
but some people say it's this planet Earth. So that, yeah, that's
Well,
I was getting my father figures mixed up there.
as you do.
As you
Yeah.
do, Abbas as well. Abba is
Uh,
also named for father. Like
is it?
Pater. Like
Oh,
Pater is
I didn't know that.
named for
Yeah.
father for Constance's dad.
And of course, the Swedish pop group of great renown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, I never thought of that. But I'm sure I don't know, it might be Hebrew or something. Oh, Latin.
yeah,
It's probably Latin, isn't it? Abba, father.
maybe. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have thought they would have named him after the Swedish group.
No,
You would have thought
yeah.
their memory would have survived rather than forgetting where the human race come
Uh,
from.
that didn't actually occur to
Yeah,
me at all.
maybe he's a
Yeah.
big fan. I don't know. I'm not sure about. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yes, Abbas.
Anyway,
Sorry
turns
about
out,
that.
yeah, she turns out she's like, 600 years ago, she was
Hmm.
18,000 years,
Yeah, so I noticed there was inconsistency because before she said something like 11,000.
because we know that because when she was talking to Zephyr Halima, that uh, she was really charismatic, sort of priestess on that planet.
Yes,
That she
yeah,
believes in that. Um, the three women,
yeah,
Hag, um, Maiden, and Mother planets, sort of
mm,
thing. That religion. She did the spiral, the pilgrimage, 11,000 years
right,
ago.
sure.
Um, oh no, was it 11,000 years ago? Might have
That
been.
kind of sounds right. I mean, it was sort of implied then that she did that. I mean, it's interesting, why she did that at that time. It's there's still questions unanswered about that, but
Yeah, so
but
it looks to me as though she found her religion before she was locked up in
yeah,
Trento,
yeah, so
and
yeah, sure,
uh, so um, so she's locked up. She's a segmented woman, which I thought would be a really good title for the episode, but
yeah,
whatevs. And she's a prisoner, and they've got her all chopped up, and the little boy, Dawn, finds her.
yeah. The Cleon, he's Cleon the First, isn't he? Yeah, so he's sort
Yeah,
of the first, and like before his mum's the Empress. She's the ruler at that point or
yeah,
something. So he's sort of like the first one and sort of spoilt. They say an indulged prince, but
yeah.
he just means
Of
spoilt,
course he
really,
is.
isn't it?
Yeah,
But yeah, but he just sort of stumbles. He stumbles across it, then he just sort of like buggering around the palace and just sort of like finds
counting
them
faces.
counting faces. Weird thing to
Yeah,
do. And then these days he'd just be looking at his phone, wouldn't he? But
yeah,
like, do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Playing GTA 5. But like, what faces? Um, Yeah, sorry. And yeah, so he finds the mural, and
yeah.
it just opens straight to his touch, again. So, but yeah, he's like, oh, what's all this then? finds the secret passage that we saw in the previous episode. Gets down there and sees this sort of, like you say, segmented Demerzel in the buff, and he's obviously doesn't know what that is. And then he touches the face, and she
Yeah.
speaks.
And you were saying about the 3 circles. Yeah, I saw them this time. So
it's interesting why they were there. Like if they were her, that's the symbol of her religion, which I think it is, isn't it? 3 circles.
I think
But
so. Yeah.
why would Cleon build them?
They also use that like the 3-pointed, because I noticed it because when I went back to season 1, it's like a Celtic symbol of 3, like the Trinity.
Yeah.
So that Celtic sort of like, it's like a triangle, but 3 ellipses intertwined. But maybe she said, well, if you're going to lock me up, can I have the 3 circles here, please?
Yeah, if I'm going to be here for a hell of a long time, could I have a bit of decoration that I can't even turn my head to look at, as long as I sort of sliced up? Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed the music as well. They made the music sort of fairy tale, whimsical, bing, 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 bing. You know what I mean? It's all like that,
again?
No. And so yeah, and the director is Roxanne Dawson, who
Star Trek fame again.
Yeah, Balana, but she's been doing loads of things. Because I noticed she was a director on Bosch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she did a few episodes there, and then when I went back and watched season 1, she'd done a load of episodes there. She did the when Day went on his pilgrimage,
and
walked the spiral. She did that episode. So I don't know how many she's done, but she's obviously fucking brilliant at it. Because she did. I mean, I haven't gone through and found out every episode she's ever done, but she did the last one, which was great, and she's done this one. Fantastic episode. Loved it. So, Trantor, 600 years ago. So we've got the photon music. So Cleon the First. Cleon apparently means famous.
Yeah.
Is the name for famous. She's 18,000 years old. So now should be nearly 19,000 years old.
Yeah.
Demerzel's not her first name. And she talks about the robot wars and Earth.
Yeah, that's the thing. She hooks him in, doesn't she, by saying, "Would you like to hear a story?" Because he's just a kid. So obviously she's trying to, manipulate him into getting out, which she would. But she's got no choice.
As you would, yeah.
As you would, and he's just an inquisitive little, brat. But
he's probably quite lonely. I mean, he's he's on his own. Really, he's got servants and stuff. His mum's spending time doing portraits, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, he's sort of too young to sort of start killing slave women and stuff like that, or whatever you do when you're a teenage brat. I don't know.
Yeah, what the day gets up to on a Saturday night.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? That sort of thing. She talks about the sort of person who imprisoned her, doesn't she? Who was some other emperor.
He's a right old bastard.
Sounded like a right lunatic. Yeah, so
I think I wrote his name down here somewhere.
She was like the head of an army, she says to him at some point. She was a leader of soldiers. And, but it's interesting. He says, why didn't he get rid of you? And she said, because I'm rare and I have the ability to create more of my kind. Ooh. Yeah, she's been free for 600 years. So what's she been up to? I think I know.
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be knocking them out
Yeah, exactly. Another one, thank you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the whole thing is really cool. So, so he's sort of beguiled by her as a child because she's like this mystery, and then
she's interesting. She's got all these stories. She's very clever.
She's cool as hell. And then, so over his life, we see him sort of become, dawn, day, and dusk, and he just sort of, he's just in love with her, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, and even. So at some point when he's this sort of day incarnation, he sort of releases her from the segmentation.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I think he does that as Dawn, but then he allows her to. Does he take? And then was it Day? Was it Day who put her back together?
Yeah, it was Day. Yeah,
right.
And then he gives her a dress, stares at her while she puts it on, and then she starts telling him saucy stories.
Yeah.
You know, and
Bit
I
of
think
sauce.
the narration even says that, you know, her stories got more and more explicit, you know, so she's totally not dumb. And he's sort
She's
of,
using every possible thing
yeah,
she can. You know, she's a total prisoner, so she needs to use her wits really. And I think, this sort of thing about women using their wits rather than their strength, although Demerzel could probably snap you in half
yeah,
because she's a robot. But like, there's a bit later on when Salva's fighting, and then that was quite realistic, I thought.
mm,
But we'll go into that later. But like, you know, women generally have to use their wits because they don't have the physical strength of,
mm.
of a geezer.
A geezer.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I watch them geezers, they're a bit tasty.
it's a tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
So
so you,
there's an interesting bit actually, sort of.
yeah,
So when he becomes old and he goes to see her when she's old, and she's sort of, excuse me, she's integrated and walking around, but still sort of like imprisoned. And he's like turns up, and she's like, "How was your marriage?" And he's like, "Oh, I called it off."
yeah,
And she's like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "I love you," and all this, you know. And obviously he's
mm,
getting old, and you know, but so he basically says, "Well, I can sort of free you, but I've found this device, this stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it's in that box. Yeah, so it's in the box that she had
oh,
in
you found
her.
her a toolkit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like a toolkit or something, but it had this sort of like inhibitor thing, and he puts the inhibitor inside her. She's like, "Yeah, fine." And then turns out she can't harm him, and she's proper pissed at that. Like, you
yeah,
know, big, you know, he's like trying to harm me, and she's like, "Ugh," straight away.
yeah.
Fuck,
Well,
what
it's
have you?
not freedom, is it? It's
Yeah, no, absolutely. But like, you know, so, but he also says this will prevent you from harming me, but not other humans, but only me.
yeah.
But also, it will stop you transmitting yourself. You know, so it's like she
To
has
another
that
system. Yeah, yeah,
capability. She did make a point earlier this season of saying my memory is uh, non-located. What did she
yeah.
say? You
She
know,
said it's not
it's
central.
externally not
It's not.
centrally, yeah, not centrally located. So like,
Yeah.
and that was important. I think we marked on that at the time. That sounded
You did, yeah.
important.
You said
Yeah,
that they made a point of saying it, and that scene didn't really
yeah.
seem to have any other, um,
Yeah, exactly. She also says
you know,
something a little bit later on, or
reason.
no, when she's talking to him, and she says that the robots uh, back in her time, she said the big ones hid in big places and the small ones hid in small places. So like,
Yeah.
so instantly I was like, she's talking about ships, right? And now
Right.
we know that
I was
Foundation has,
imagining massive, like great big giants.
yeah, possibly that too.
That'd be
Maybe
awesome.
maybe all the statues are going to come alive. I hope not. But like, but you know, but that to me, I just thought, because I still think she's in league with the spacers, and it's like if they're sort of cyborg species, it just, you know,
It won't make
I,
sense.
I think
Yeah.
that her consciousness is perhaps in some of those ships. You know, I don't know. I think that's all going to come out. We're going to find out her side of it quite soon. I think.
Yeah. It's
Um,
going to be a cracking last episode.
yeah.
Uh,
So that was all really good sort of backstory. Sometimes backstory is a bit pointless if you know what's going to happen, but this was like perfect. It was exactly what we
yeah, yeah,
needed.
they strung it
Um,
out because she was always a
yeah.
mystery, you know.
So now we know she's 18 or 19,000 years
Years
old, but
old.
she's been in that prison for 5,000 years.
Well,
Um,
she says as well, like when she was talking about the robot wars, and she was talking about how the robots, once they sort of, became sentient, they had massive leaps in technology, so they could have stuff way beyond
yeah.
what the humans have got. And she didn't sort of snap his neck when she could have done,
Mm,
um, and she could have gone then. Um, And the thing is as well, if it because he puts this inhibitor sort of thing into her, so she's loyal to the Empire forever. That was one of the things. She would always come back, even if she has to leave.
yeah.
That is that's another compliance, and she can't harm
It's
the
interesting as
Empire.
well. He said that it's coded to me. So you'll always have to sort of obey and stuff like that, which is instantly I just thought, well, that's why she's been mucking with their genetic code, because if she mucks with it enough, then it won't be recognized and she'll be able to harm them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I think is her plan, is
Yeah,
to
yeah.
keep changing them enough so that they're not really Empire anymore, and then she can sort of like, or whatever it is she's planning on doing,
Yeah.
you know, or whatever. So
With her secret robot army.
yeah, so you got a spacer fucking army or something like that. I reckon
Yeah.
that's what it's going to be. But
I'm hoping to see more robots though. I mean, spacers are really cool, but they
yeah,
seem sort of ethereal. You know, I can't really see them on a battlefield, and also they live in
yeah,
space. So if they go down to a planet, I don't know. Unless they've got like adamantine sort of skeletons and stuff like that, because humans who live in space can't deal with the
yeah.
gravity, can they?
But even if it doesn't, you know, I mean, even if they just decide they're not going to move the ships anymore, Empire's still screwed, you know, because the other
Yeah.
guys have got these other intelligent ships, you know. But again, there's still like a question as to where does the intelligence in the Foundation ships come from? You know, I still, you know, it's very
Yeah,
possible that,
that's very
you
interesting. I
know,
love all
that
that
where,
organic technology stuff.
yeah,
I mean,
like
like
where
the
did it come?
mines
Yeah,
from Ian M. Banks, the mines.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So like
yeah,
it could be that, you know, it's because when she said, you know, the big ones hid in the big places and the small ones hid in the small places, I was like, well, you know, that's very interesting. You know what I mean? It could be anywhere. You don't. She even says, you know, my name is Demerzel. It's a woman's name because that's how I appear now. But like implying that she didn't, you know, wasn't like that before. You know, it's just a representation. So
she
it's
she
like she could look like anything. She could look
she,
like a USB thumb drive.
yeah. She also said about being like a warrior as well at some point. Well, I
Mm.
suppose you'd have to be, wouldn't you, if you
Yeah,
like
leader of
surviving for the
soldiers. Yeah.
you're fighting for the survival of your species. You would, yeah. She was like a super soldier, so she's like the ultimate woman. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, and it's weird. We don't know how they got defeated either. You know, so I
No,
wonder if they'll come to that. You know, if she'll say, you know, how they were defeated. You know, because like they sound pretty tough.
yeah.
So yeah, we don't get much of that. You know, hope maybe we will. You know, I hope they don't make a prequel series. You know, and stuff like that. It's like, well, maybe I do.
Maybe
I
they
don't
were
know.
inhibited from making copies of
Yeah,
themselves or whatever. So there was only a few. I don't know, but
I don't know.
hopefully we'll find out because that's really interesting.
Mm,
Um, and also I thought if you hadn't put that fucking thing in her neck, she might have stuck around. Although,
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't, but
yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I
You know,
think it
he
is.
didn't even give her the choice. He said um, you can come to my bed of a night. I was like, oh right, cheers, nice,
I think it's weird because like we only kind of really get her side of the story as to why
true.
she was imprisoned, and she's obviously going to say whatever, you know. But it could be, and like
Mm,
Cleon doesn't know because it was like 5,000 years ago. But
mm.
it could be that they were utter murdering bastards, and it was the right thing to do to fucking like try and contain them. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah,
we
we
don't
don't
know,
know.
we don't
Yeah,
really know what her objectives
but then
are.
Dusk before in the last episode, Dusk says to Rue, all they wanted was for us to acknowledge that they were another species. You know, they were
Yeah,
sentient. Personhood, I think, is what he
yeah.
said.
Sure. I mean, that's kind of like there to sort of make you sympathise with them. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
sort of like
I do
a,
sympathise with him as well because I
yeah,
mean, like fucking Cleon,
yeah, I do.
you couldn't have got on a
I do as well. But there still may be more to it. You know, again, it's like
yeah,
there's always, with this show, you know, there's always seems to be multiple sort of like motivations for people, and all, you know, they're
yeah,
all sort of good and bad. It's great. It's really,
yeah.
really good. So
Uh,
that whole sequence was awesome. I thought, you
you
know,
can come to my bed in secret. Nice, really.
ooh, yeah,
So I can't
cheers,
snap your
man.
neck,
Yeah,
and
cheers, old man.
I'm being rewarded by having sex with you.
With an old
Nice,
man.
thank
Yeah,
you.
an old fart who I can't
Fucking
even murder.
great. Yeah, what
Yeah,
a shitty Tuesday.
yeah. And she's like, I can't believe you're not allowing me to kill you, you bastard. And we're all like, yeah, you
Yeah,
should be allowed to kill the old man.
she missed a she missed a thing there. Anywho,
Yeah, so yeah, that's what happens after that. We're back. We sort of go back to Ignis, and I was like, oh god, is this fucking going to end? Do you know what I mean? That fucking whole Ignis thing was just a huge fucking mistake, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, sorry. So Dusk and Rue are now locked up in
Oh
the
yeah, that's.
mural. Yeah, yeah. So
Oh yeah, because the modern day the 16th says, right, your game's at an end. He said,
yeah,
this is all fucking nonsense. You know what I mean? We're not having it. And he just goes, yeah, whatever, and just disappears and sort of laser beams.
there's some excellent dialogue in this, and he's going like, "We've been warming your fucking throne for you,"
Yeah,
you know, because they
yeah,
must have. As a clone, you would have a sense of inferiority because you're not the real deal, are you? And
yeah,
you're just basically going through the motions for this arsehole, Cleon the
yeah,
First. You know what I mean? For
yeah.
his pride and his
Love struck
arrogance.
maniac. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just a thing for him, and you would be in a feel because I think this is why Day's an arsehole anyway, but
yeah.
um, that is one of the there's some great lines in this. There's some great lines. So really good dialogue. We'll get to that because I'll talk about that later on. But
Mm.
yeah, so you say that we go to
So we're back
Ignis.
to Ignis and Gale's on the slab, Tellem's on the slab.
Yeah,
The fucking wankers are playing their
bring pen pipes.
and Gale's and Tellem's
Yeah,
sort of like waxing lyrical. I will take your body and all this shit. And I was just like, God,
yeah.
just fucking
Gales is gone.
just
Yeah.
like a bomb. Someone throw a grenade in that room, man. Just put an end to everything. And then of course, like Salvor, hooray! Fucking
Mm.
Salvor's the best one. And so she's sort of like she is sort of like the moral compass, I think, at the moment in this whole story. Everyone else's moral compasses are all fucked. They're all pointing in different directions. But she's just like, I'm going to save Gal. She's my mum. I'm going to do that. She smacks some geezer in the face, nicks her gun back. She's got that cool fucking rifle.
Yeah.
And she basically uses the resonators that she used that Harry sort of told her what they were and
Clever.
stuff. She uses them and they all do that sort of thing like that. Manages to get Gale out just about. That was really, really cool. And so
Mm.
they sort of escape, but the others are in sort of hot
She
pursuit.
slaps her.
Oh, she
Whoa.
does, yeah.
Yeah.
Mum, slap.
Pull yourself
Yeah.
together.
Don't you ever
Yeah.
slap me again. Yeah, you're grounded.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
brings her back, which is good.
I brought you into this world and this is how you treat me. She could have said
Yeah.
that. I mean, she didn't even give birth to her, did she? You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Is she really a mother?
Well, it's the other way around at the
Mm.
moment. Salva's the mum,
Oh, she is, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Gail's totally fucking lost her way, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and she's very young still. I see her as like a
yeah,
16-year-old.
yeah,
Gail,
yeah. I think she's supposed to, sort of
she's very
about that.
young, and you see a bit of her youngness come through when Talon's fucking with her head later.
Yeah.
So so we go back to Terminus, don't we? So
Mm.
then we've got Balrios is on the ship.
Oh, yeah, he has a chat with Hober, Mallow, and Constant.
Yeah, they make a point of saying something about Hober's wrist implant.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand it because like, I wasn't sure.
I thought
Because
that
in
was
the
a normal thing that
yeah,
happened to
I did,
prisoners.
but it was
Yeah.
weird because in the previous episode, Constant says your wrist, and this thing on his wrist is lighting up, and
Mm.
I wasn't at that point like, what is that? I thought it was maybe something to do with the ships they've got or something,
Yeah, I didn't know.
but,
Yeah.
so, but he sort of said implied in this one that it wasn't there before, and the spaces put it on him.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right. So I think
so
I think it's communicating with the spaces that this is going on.
yeah,
You
so
know,
they know where he is. But yeah, I mean, I was sort of expecting them to turn up in this episode, but they didn't.
and
So
also Constant made a point of saying this could be bloodless.
yeah,
And Belrius was like, yeah, well, that's kind of what he wants. He doesn't want,
yeah,
death and destruction, but he doesn't get his wish later on. Goes a bit wrong.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's weird because there's all this. Yeah, so Empire's turned up on the ship as well, isn't he? Like while he's talking to Hober Mallow and that, and the Empire's like, I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to be the Empire that chooses peace. And
what
they're
a
all
load of
like,
shit.
what the fuck, man? It's like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like,
and they
and
sort of explain why they haven't kicked off yet by they're doing some reconnaissance on the city, and then they sort of highlight a place that looks a little bit suspicious today, so that's why he wants to go and have a look at. But also, Invictus is there.
The Invictus is there, yeah.
Yeah.
So we were wondering about that, weren't we, before?
Yeah.
But it's interesting that as Empire, he says he's going to go down to the planet, and both Belrius and Demerzel are like, no, that's a fucking stupid idea, you fucking mental person. And Belrios has a little word with Demerzel, he just goes over and he says, surely you know what I'm thinking. Yeah. And she basically says, Paul, stay in your lane, sort of thing. She says that I chose you for a reason.
I wrote it down.
That was very interesting. Yeah, like and I think we might have remarked upon that before. Like, why him? It just seemed an odd choice, but she's done it for a reason. She knows what she's doing. It's all part
for a few episodes back, they were she made this. She said today, Belrios is the guy, and he kicks off and says no, but then I think because they're having sex, he sort of then he goes with it, but he didn't like the idea at first, and then you see him later talking to Dusk and Dawn saying, I think Belrios, because this is why I thought he was under the thumb, but he's just not. He's a nightmare, isn't he? He's a nightmare.
No. But it's like, anyway, he does go down.
Yeah.
He does go down there, and he's sort of like, and they're all like, holy fuck. I mean, they're kind of expecting him to come down.
May the light never dim.
May the light never dim, yeah. I did notice that. It's like, all right, man, get together. But then he's like, well, do you want to come and discuss terms in our office? And he's like, no, I want to go to the church. I want to go to this place. And, and they're
like, rough with Polly.
Yeah. But it's not a church either, is it? It's like a fucking factory. And like,
looked like a meth lab, didn't it? I mean,
yeah, it did. I was still a bit confused what they're up to in there.
I think the white curtainy sort of things were supposed to be like brain tissue, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know, because I don't think it was quite. I'm not sure if they were being totally honest, Terminus, because, they were saying that, we can turn iron into gold with these machines. It's like, why? Well, but like also, I mean, I thought it was going to be the factory where they're making the stuff for the spaces. I've forgotten what it's called. Opalesque, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
I thought that's what that was, but then they're like making these little things that you can chuck iron in and turn into gold. It's just kind of. I thought that was weird because I wasn't sure what the point was that about. Is that just so that they can wave shiny stuff in front of other star systems?
Well, it sort of reminded me of like I had to look up how to spell this word, transubstantiation. Oh God,
Transubstantiation.
That's it. Yeah, you got it straight away. It was like fucking 17 syllables in that.
What's that all about?
Because I was brought up Catholic, and so
you don't do syllables.
So that is the word that you said just now. That turns host into the body of Christ. So it's probably like a parallel to that. We can.
Christ! Yeah, of course. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, because it's a religion, so they've got to, they've got to do
Transubstantiation.
Miracles. Yeah, well done, man.
Is the word.
You should be a rapper or something.
Transubstantiation is the word.
So the bit rough to Polly, and like he's doing this in it, and then the days go on, then. Do your spiel, and Polly starts off, and then Day kicks him in the back because he's not being righteous enough, and then it was a really nice moments where the bloke goes, "I have iron, I have iron," and they all start getting it. Yeah, they get into it.
Yeah, it's like.
Hail Harry and stuff, and they all do the words, and like in a church, and to help her out. And that was quite a nice moment because they knew he was struggling there. And
I thought there was more to. I thought there was maybe like a ruse or something, that they were going to like do an assassination attempt on Empire or something. I don't know. I just thought that was a bit strange when they all started doing that. I didn't really think they really believed in all that
No, I
stuff.
don't
I
think
thought
they
it was just
actually do.
yeah,
But because that's Polly's thing, and he's been
yeah,
mistreated,
yeah,
they
maybe.
kind of like helped him out a bit. You know what I mean? They've got
Yeah,
behind him. You know. So,
good old Polly.
yeah.
He does he's doing his bit, isn't he? But Dave's not impressed really, but he's just like, this is just alchemy, it's just magic, it's just got gold shiny stuff. And then he kicks over something, and there's a
Yeah,
load of
yeah.
personal auras in it, and I'm like, shit, are they all wearing personal auras now? Because that would have been
Yeah. That would have been
they could have
great.
they could have
Yeah.
like basically pulled out their own guns and shit and had a proper decent attempt at sort of like knocking, cutting his head off or something, but they didn't.
But Polly
Um,
said, because Day goes, only Empire's supposed to wear these. Are you selling them? And Polly goes, no, we give them away.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, just giving away, man. Yeah, exactly. Do you
That
know what I
really
mean?
pisses him off. But then he says, all right, kill everybody, kill councillors
Oh
and the
yeah,
priests.
and I
Keep
think
this.
they do. Or they start doing it anyway.
They keep the scientists alive. So,
Oh, and he stabs Cermak
oh
in the
yeah,
guts. Yeah, we see him a bit later on. Um, not for long, but like it's an interesting moment. I'll mention
yeah,
talk
stabs
about that when we
Constance's
get to it.
dad.
So yeah, we basically see. Yeah, okay, so that's basically where it ends in that scene. I think it goes back to Ignis then. I think, and then there's
Well,
so,
he sends out I don't know. I think Bel Rios wants to board the Invictus. He wants to be as bloodless as possible.
hmm.
The Empire Day then decides he wants to go and see Harry because he
Yes, of
sees,
course, yeah.
yeah, he sees the vault. And I think there's a bit of a space battle. Bel Rios sends out his
There is, yeah.
husband.
There's a space battle later on. It's like it's still it's weird because I think at this point this is like halfway through the episode. There's still like loads. I was like, wow, there's a lot happening.
Yeah, there's a lot
Um,
on. So Gail and Salva get to the beggar.
they get to the beggar. She's got she gives her the radiant. Um, and yeah, so they sort of get to the beggar, and they're both having their respective battles. So Salvo's fighting that geezer,
Mm.
who keeps looking in, turning into Hugo, her
Yeah,
ex fella.
what a wanker.
What a wanker, yeah. But
Yeah.
even so, she was still like hesitating all the time. I was like, come on, man, it's not him.
But
Just fucking
it
shoot him.
but it might not actually just be a visual thing. Like when you see
Yeah,
it
yeah,
might
that's
be
true.
like she's actually it convinces you that it's
Yeah,
that maybe the smells and the
yeah.
hearing and plus Hugo is pretty good looking,
He's a nice guy. He's a handsome man. Yeah, I
handsome
liked
man.
Hugo actually. I thought he was a really good character. When I saw
Mm.
him when we saw him come back, it wasn't him. Like I was actually quite sort of cool, pleased because he
Yeah.
was like kind of decent. He was just like a really decent guy. Like
Mm.
he was sort of like they're both sort of very independent people, aren't they? But they just
Yeah,
make a
they
really
made a
nice
nice.
couple
Yeah, they really did.
and
Yeah.
sort of really supportive of each other and stuff like
Mm.
that. And he just seemed like a really decent sort. Um, so that was a real shame when it turned out not to be him. But yeah, like you say, fucking wanker. I wouldn't forgive someone for that. He
No.
deserved to get shot. Um, so yeah, they're having a fight. She gives Gail the radiant, says, "Get to the ship. I'll be right behind you. I've got to kill this arsehole."
Yeah.
And of course, she gets there and fucking Tellem's just standing there, and I was like, "Fucking die already!"
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah. You horrible old
Jesus,
woman. Oh,
horrible! Yeah, you bloody old dirty old crone. It is
yeah.
horrible. And so there's sort of so Tellem starts doing her thing, bloody invading people's minds and shit, and like
Using Gail's dad.
yeah,
I
sort of
liked him as well. He's a bit
yeah.
cockney, bit of
Is he a
representation
bit
there.
Cockney? A bit Cockney
Lip.
representation. Yeah, we need more Cockneys in the world. Oi, oi. We will not be
Yeah.
silenced. All right, Gov. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that. But like, and like Gail say, "You're not my dad,"
Oh,
and
she
all that
does
kind of
that
shit.
thing, and I thought it's almost like she's regressed to being a young
Oh,
kid.
I didn't think about that. Yeah,
Yeah. So I
that's
think it's more powerful than a visual thing what they're doing.
yeah,
They actually take you back, and every the sight, sound, smells, everything. Like his
yeah.
dad says, I can't even smell the fucking sea.
Yeah.
And obviously that was one of her fears, that she let her parents down by being this mathematician,
Yeah.
and that was
Yeah,
something
it's a
that,
cheap shot, man.
yeah,
It's a cheap
bitch,
shitty way. Yeah, I mean,
Tellem,
that's just
yeah,
fucking torturing the bitch. But then, like, Gail sort of turns the tables on her,
yeah.
sort of somehow. And I still kind of like, I didn't quite understand that at the time because I meant to rewatch it, but I didn't have time. But she sort of like somehow manipulates the vision, doesn't she, or something like that?
Well,
You
no,
might know. I
Tellem
don't know.
takes her to the 150 years, because she's saying,
Oh,
you're a
right. Yeah.
failure. You're a failure as a daughter. You let your parents down,
Oh,
but you
yeah.
want to be this big, hero of the future, sort of thing. And that's
Yeah.
when Gail goes, "You fear death. Here's your death." And her mule turns up, and that scares the shit out of Tellem.
Yeah. It was an extreme reaction, I thought. To sort of,
Mm.
it's
Well,
like,
for someone who's been
yeah.
finagling all these years, stealing young kids' bodies just so she wouldn't die, it's pretty
Finagling.
pathetic.
Finagling.
Finagle, yeah,
Is that a word?
yeah,
Finagle.
it's in the dictionary.
Right in the comments.
Yeah, yeah, finagle. It's
I'm
like,
sure it is it's in the dictionary. I'm sure it is. I'm not doubting you. I've just never heard it before. That's all. It's just this
no,
is
it's,
my ignorance.
scheming and,
Finagle. Yeah, that
doing
sounds like the name of a Cockney character.
finagle.
Yeah, or Dr. Finagle.
Mr. Agle,
Mr.
Finn.
Agle. Finn Agle. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that'll
There
be
we go.
good. Might
Maybe
use
that.
that for something. Fucking hell. Um, so the 150 years, so Gail sort of get a bit of agency back and goes, this is
Yeah.
what you fear, sort of thing. And then I thought, the mule, he's got blue eyes. Is he a thespian? Don't know.
I don't know. They were sort of glowy blue, weren't they? It's like it doesn't. Yeah, we're still
Yeah.
not sure who he is, but like I think he's part of Tellem's group. Interesting to see what happens with the rest of that Tellem's group now, because I think Gail's probably going to feel some responsibility for leaving them leaderless, and she's going to end up doing something dumb like letting them live.
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it's Salva's progeny.
Mate, really?
I don't know. I'm just making shit up now. But
Yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah, who? Who's she had a
well,
baby with?
because I thought, well, maybe she'll find Hugo's eggs, sperm somewhere, because he's a thespian, isn't he? And down the
He's
line,
find his eggs. Oh look in the
yeah, I
in the
quite like him
corner
to,
of a
because
in
there
the
was such a
corner of
nice.
a room.
I think it's just wishful thinking. They were such a nice couple.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose that's part of you know that would be a sort of a recurring thing in your life if you were living throughout multiple sort of centuries
Mm,
and stuff. Is that you would have this thing where people you know and love are just dead and gone. So it's
mm,
sort of part of the of living that way, I suppose. You know what I mean? That everyone
yeah,
sort
yeah.
of like knowing that the people you love are like hundreds of years dead and stuff. But yeah, you're right. It's a
She'll
shame
have to
because
get another fella.
she'll have to get another fella. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure she
maybe he's
will.
got a twin brother knocking about,
Maybe so.
who's better, who's even better
Or
than.
she could just force the geezer at gunpoint to look like Hugo all the time and just sort of like do what she wants with him,
Yeah, but
stuff
he's
like that.
mental though, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, no, but
Yeah.
yeah, she gets a fuck out of it.
What I liked
I'm
about
so
it,
sorry.
sorry, yeah. So what I liked about it is, she's fighting this big I mean, he looks like a fucking marine. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he does. He's proper buff, isn't he? And
Yeah,
like,
he's like 6'3",
yeah,
maybe taller. He's built like a brick shit house. And I thought what was good about the well, he is though, isn't he? And
no, he is. Yeah,
he obviously knows what he's doing,
yeah,
like fighting. And there's a really good bit where, well, I liked the way it started raining halfway through. That must have been a bitch to film, because you've got to like clean people up, so they haven't got mud all in their face. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But I thought that was a nice touch. The rain starting halfway through, and she's fighting him, and she knows that although she's using her wits, like turning off the gun and stuff like that, he's too strong. He's too fucking strong. You
yeah. I mean,
know,
she's holding her own for the most
she
part. I
is, but
think. Yeah,
she's getting tired. They've been fighting for
yeah,
fucking half an hour by now. Do you know what I mean? I
yeah,
would have crawled up and just told them to shoot me in the head. I would have just given
yeah.
up probably. But anyway, she escapes. she sort of escapes into the airlock. Does that happen now or does that happen later?
I think it's sort of,
It's
I
sort of
don't
all
know.
together, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And then Day and Demerzel go to the vaults, and they talk to Harry, and Harry just seems to be wanting to have a conversation with Demerzel, really, like he's saying to her, come on, we don't
Yeah,
want this to go out of hand and stuff like that. And he's quite rude today, which is nice. He says, you're not an outlier, you're just not special, sorry.
yeah,
Yeah. And he offers the Prime Radiant to Demerzel.
yeah. So yeah, she makes she makes a couple of digs at Day. I mean, it's weird, that whole thing, because Harry's just like, yeah, you just have no idea what you're doing,
Mm.
sort of thing, really, and you're just sort of, you think you do but you don't, sort of shit. It's quite cutting, isn't it? But yeah, he's spending more time talking to Demerzel. So like,
Mm.
again, I mean, I think I said in the last one that I thought there was a possibility they were somehow, if not in league, then
Yeah.
in with aligned goals, sort of thing, and they probably know about each other and stuff. Even if they're not in collusion, that perhaps Demerzel's like, yeah, I agree with what's going on. I don't know.
But she didn't seem to know about the Prime Radiant, at least. Oh, she must do,
hmm.
though.
Yeah, I
You'd be
don't
a little
know.
bit curious as a robot, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it was interesting to know that. Yeah, I mean, at one point I thought she wasn't going to be allowed in that thing, like, because
Mm.
I thought she was going to get sort of barred from going in, but no, she goes in.
Well, I think
But
Harry knows that she's actually the power behind the throne, isn't
yeah,
she?
exactly. Like you said, but I think you said before, like, she's fucking 18,000 years old. She's been there throughout all the Cleon dynasty. She must have all the power. So there's no way Harry would have just sort of ignored her. She
No,
must
she's
be
too
factored
important.
in. But
Yeah.
he just hasn't brought it up until this point, because he hasn't had the opportunity to see her. So perhaps the whole thing was to get her to come to Terminus rather than the Empire. I don't know.
I don't think. I think he wanted to give Day a chance, maybe, to just not be the arsehole. But
Yeah, maybe.
but Day's he's too far gone. He's too far gone. The
Mm.
fucking arrogance alone and the
Yeah,
self
his temper
importance.
temper getting the best of him in this
Yeah,
one.
he has a
Totally.
tantrum, doesn't he? He throws a bunch of stuff off the thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
smashing stuff up.
Well, he has a tantrum because Harry says he's not special. You're not an
Yeah,
outlier, soz. It's
sauce,
just,
mate.
yeah,
Yeah,
sozza.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, you're not special.
get used to it. But I think even in that point, Demerzel was sort of like having a little dig at him at Empire. I've written down she has a little dig at him, and I've totally forgotten what she actually said. She has a couple of digs at him in this episode. Like
She has a good
now,
one later.
yeah, she
Yeah,
has
she,
another
she
good one
totally
later
puts
on.
him in his fucking place.
Um,
Yeah.
but basically, so I mean, the what's the culmination of that scene with them in the vault then? So it's basically him just saying, because basically Empire's saying, all your plans are bullshit because I've changed the way
Yeah,
we've done
right.
things.
Yeah.
But like Harry's just like, it just doesn't matter. It's
It
kind
doesn't
of, you know
matter.
what I mean? Just
Yeah.
doesn't. You're kind of doing what we expect you to do. Do you know what I mean? It's not about you. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's the Empire. The Galactic Empire itself, sort of thing. So I think that's kind of what I got from that. It's like,
He says it seemed to me like the most important thing that he's met Demerzel properly.
mm,
He said, imagine a better future. Um, you can use the Prime Radiant,
yeah.
So,
I wonder if that was significant then, maybe like you say, that maybe this
yeah.
Prime Radiant means something to her in some way, or something she can use, or it's a technology, I don't know.
Yeah, well, or even if she learns how to do the psychohistory maths,
Yeah,
she could say that, yeah, no, it is true, and this is all going to plan out. Doesn't really doesn't matter on an individual basis. This is what's going to happen, and she could be in a position to maybe make it less bloodsheddy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
That's pretty much.
hoping.
Yeah. I
I'm
think that's.
hoping that's because she doesn't seem like a nut job.
It's hard to tell.
It's hard to
She
tell.
doesn't seem like, but it seems like she's constricted. Constrained. Sorry, I think is the word I was looking for in what she can and can't do.
She's not finagling.
She's not finagling, or maybe she is finagling. Maybe that was her name before she was Demerzel.
And then we sort of go to the space battle then, and I thought,
Oh yes, so there's a space battle. We don't get many of them.
no, very
No.
nicely shot. Some really nice. They've got these little ships, the Switchbacks, which are the Imperials.
Yeah,
One
cool.
really fantastic. Looking,
yeah, good old sort of old-fashioned space battle sort of thing. They're like shoot the Invictus down. Okay, because that Empire's basically like, right, shoot the fucking thing down, drop it into the planet. The singularity will destroy the fucking planet. And they're like, hey,
yeah, a little bit overkill.
a little bit overkill. And they're like, well, okay. So, but it's got guns and shit. So Invictus fires first on the Imperial ships. Just goes, oh, fuck these guys. Which is fair enough. Starts blasting them, and they can't get a look in.
I mean, it was a bit more equal than I thought it was going to be, considering that the staff on the Invictus were like saying that they'd never done drills, which I thought a bit of a missed opportunity then.
Yeah, I probably should have done a bit about that.
I mean, you're up against Belrios, who's like a seasoned general.
Plus, they had a lot of ships, Empire, in the thing, and only the flagship seemed to be firing at the Invictus. So I mean, it is what it is. But,
interesting bit about the Whisper ships. They seem to be unmanned.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. See, that's again. Where's that technology come from? Because Foundation, they're still living in fucking dirt. Like Terminus, it's still like, I just don't know.
Well, that could be a show. I mean, if you're building space brains for ships.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense. I don't think
it's like what gangsters do, isn't it? I mean, like I used to work in Brixton Station in London, which is quite a rough area, and every sort of week, the local phone shop would get raided by the police because the phone shop's as a front for money laundering. So it's what gangsters do. They have it like a tatty old shop with a couple of youths running it, selling phones. And
for a moment there, I was wondering where you were going with this story.
Yeah,
but they're not. But
it's probably not relevant at all. I've just gone.
I was like,
tangent time.
I was like, is there a phone shop on Terminus?
Yeah. No.
No, you're talking about them being a front, and I think you're right. But it's like, but there's not even like any sort of allusion to that. It's like if it is a front, they're keeping it very well hid. But unless they don't really know what they've got, in a way, it's like, because a lot of the information that they've built their technology on was sort of given to them by, it was built en route, wasn't it, and stuff like that. So
they had a head start with the space folding technology, and they knew that they didn't want spaces, so they probably the guy in season 1 died by plugging his brain into the Invictus to get them back, so they knew it was brain. So over 130 years, I could see them, coming up with it.
Again, it just seems a bit weird that they're all sort of still living in huts and wearing shit,
Unless they've their mates with spaces on a side.
I mean, that's what I thought. That could be possible. Or or someone's nudged them in that direction of that technology, so they're just like, oh, it's just a thing. But in actual fact, it's like almost impossible. Could be Demerzel.
Demerzel's secret mates turn up and go, hello, fellow human, and I've got some excellent technology that
friends.
that you might be interested in.
I have just made this. It is an artificial brain. Would you like it? No need to thank me.
Yeah. So
poor blimey.
So there's a bit of a Star Wars moment there. It's very nice because Glaywin, Balrios's husband, goes woo because he blows.
Oh yeah, he's doing his old.
Like Bowie's just like, for fuck's sake, I'm gonna die
Yeah.
here. Do you know what I mean? His heart's in
Yeah.
his chest. So anyway, yeah, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, so it was. I think they're still in the vault, or are they? Because they bring up the blind angels.
Oh
Day
yeah, because
goes, and then Demerzel's going.
yeah,
You know, yeah, yeah, it wasn't me. What blind
yeah.
angels? Yeah,
What are these angels you're talking about? Yeah, I don't remember.
she must have done it.
Yeah, it's fucking obvious.
Yeah,
I wasn't. Yeah, Harry's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. No
yeah.
idea, mate.
And Harry provokes Day again by saying, "Oh, they were, because Day's like, why didn't you kill me?" And Harry's like, "Well, we just sort of uncorked another one because he called them
Yeah,
grapes, didn't he? In the
yeah,
last season, you're just a grape, and that obviously is going to hit home. That's when Day says, "Yeah, let's fuck everything up,"
yeah.
and
Fuck this.
we put a singularity into the fucking No, not just murder a bunch of people, fucking destroy their
The
entire
planet.
system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Fucking mental.
yeah.
Seems like a dangerous thing to have about hovering above your planet, really. But
Well, I
but
don't. I
yes,
suppose
but
they didn't. I mean, you're going
yeah,
to make use of something as good as the Invictus, aren't you? And you're going to
yeah,
get in there. I mean, that's probably how they came up with the brain tissue thing because they've got a prototype Invictus there that uses brain sort of
yeah,
so it'd be easy to 130 years to sort of bring that to.
yeah.
I think it's reasonable. I think it's reasonable
Yeah,
what they would
I know.
invent.
I mean, I just think
Yeah.
there's, it's just kind of implied, and I just don't see evidence for it. It could just be me having a suspicious mind.
I don't know. No, no, it's good because you
You
come up with
know?
things that I wouldn't think about. And even though, like, through the comments and everything that we've had on the channel, everybody's sort of right. We're sort of
Yeah,
right. They're sort of right. So we're all just coming up with theories, to sort of make sense of it. And
yeah,
it's so interesting.
yeah. It is good.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Um, so, so they've had their meeting with Harry. Day's like, "Fuck this."
Mm,
Goes back up to the ship. The space battle's all kicking off. Um, we see we do actually. There's more on Ignis, isn't there? Because Gale, we didn't say that when Gale was having a thing with Tellem,
mm,
and she shows the mule, and
yeah.
Tellem goes
Mm,
sort of thing like that. Um, so Gale's like, right, got you, bitch.
mm.
But she fights back a bit. They still have a bit more of a scuffle and shit. Um, and then Salvo, yeah. So Salvo, did she kill the other guy?
Yeah, she invented the oxygen.
Painted the oxygen,
And then
right?
and then he turns into Hugo at the end, and she goes,
Yeah,
but she sticks with it, and
I'd have been like that through the window.
yeah, die fucker.
Yeah,
Um,
it's my ass.
yeah,
Fucking
how
lying
dare you
bastard.
use my ex's face?
Yeah, you
Fans.
dirty bastard. Can I have your
Yeah,
eggs, please?
die.
Die, motherfucker. And then so yeah, so Gale and that, they're still having a bit of fighty scene and shit like that.
Yeah,
And then who fucking turns up out of nowhere?
Harry,
It's Harry. Oi, oi. It's Mr. Harry.
Harry Brown.
Yeah, Harry Brand. So yeah, Harry turns up, fucking absolutely stoves Tellem's head in with fucking
Wrench,
whatever, baseball bat or something.
something massive wrench.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like proper
fantastic scene.
proper goes at it, like, and you
Mm,
see her as well, and he's like, her head's fucking demolished, and he's like, I never liked her. Which is really funny.
yeah,
Yeah, do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
great line.
Yeah, and they're just like, fuck, like, where did you come from? They don't even ask him where he's been. I don't think he says anything, does he? It just sort of
No,
ends
no, he
there.
just turns up with this great big stovepipe thing, bashes her head in, and Gail and Salva are like, "Oh my god, Brain Man!" Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? They're like getting out of the way, and there's a really good picture of Harry's face, and he's just fucking
Oh yeah, he's
murderous.
proper like getting in there,
Yeah,
fucking around with the course of history. Um,
never really liked her. Fantastic line.
but it
Just
doesn't explain. Yeah, it doesn't actually say anything. It doesn't explain how he survived the drowning or anything like that. Presumably, we'll find out
yeah,
about that and stuff. So I think that's the last we see of them.
yeah,
And then so space battle's happening. Bel Rios is his husband is in the battle, and Bel Rios is like, "Come on!" And but yeah, his husband takes a shot to the wing or something, and basically he's like, "Well, that's it. He's dead."
mm,
You know what I mean? So he's quite upset, but he's carrying on. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
he's carrying on and stuff, and then so basically Day's like, okay, because they finally break the defenses on the Invictus, don't they?
Mm.
And they're like, right, just shoot it down, drop it onto the fucking planet.
Mm.
And so he goes, fine. And Bel Rios is like, fine, let's do it. And then, he's just about to do it. And then he gets a little phone call, doesn't he? From his like thing, and it's his husband, like, "Hello, darling," and he's like, "Fuck, where are you?" And he says, "Oh, I'm on the planet." And he's like, "Oh, fuck,
shit, yeah."
Yeah, and he sort of explains the situation. He says, "Look, Empire's telling me," and he's saying this while Empire's standing behind him, and Empire's just staring at him like, "Are you serious, man? Like, do you know what I mean? I can hear you." And he's just like, "Yeah, Empire's told me to do this, but I'm not sure. You're on the blood." And he's just like, "Do it, do the right thing, because if you
That's a
don't,
really
someone
good,
else will do it."
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good moment. I
it was
mean,
a good moment. Yeah, it's very brave and
I thought Barrios isn't going to do that, but he had
I
to.
kind of knew he was going to do it, but like
Yeah,
you just think that's just another like he's because they already told
you're
him he
going to
was
be
dead
so. You
once.
made me
Yeah,
kill my fucking love of my
yeah,
life.
you're going to be. I'm going to fucking
Yeah,
have you for this. So, um,
yeah.
and at this point as well, so he basically says, okay, fine, shoot the fucking thing.
Mm.
And at this point, Demerzel's like, right, I'm off. And
Yeah,
he's
she gets like a little.
yeah. So who's that from? Spaces, I reckon, or so, I don't know. No one knows, but
I don't know, because I thought initially she's kind of sort of thought about the future and thought this has all gone to shit. I'm leaving, but then I thought, well, maybe she just realised that Dusk and Rue are in her little
oh
chamber on Trent.
yeah, that
Could be
makes
that.
more sense. Yeah, that
It
makes
could,
more sense.
it could be that, or like I didn't even think that she'd got a message from Spaces, but she could have done. I mean,
Yeah.
they've all got Wi-Fi. You
No, I think
know.
you're right. I think you're right because basically, like, because even Dave's like, "What? Where?
Mm,
You can't just go now. I'm literally about to fucking destroy a planet. Aren't you even going to watch?" It's
mm,
like she won't even wait for 5 minutes. And she's like,
yeah,
"No, I'm off." But basically, she has she has a dig at him here. I think maybe you made some notes about that.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like, he's like, well, "You can't go," and she's like, "Well, I'm going," sort of thing. I sometimes have to do other things.
She says that he's not morally correct, not
Yeah,
mentally correct. He's shortcomings. She apologises to him for his shortcomings that she
yeah,
couldn't fix by fucking him.
yeah.
She said, "I gave you a chance, but
She
you're too
proper lays it on,
yeah,
yeah.
you're too far gone. It was my oversight. Very sorry about that, but now I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave
And
you
he's
to
just like,
it."
what the fuck?
Great, great, great. Great
Yeah, she
dialogue. Yeah.
proper breaks. I mean, it's weird that at that point that she's able to just go because you think he would command her, but
What's he
like,
going to do though? He's not
well, I
going to.
don't,
He's not going to
I,
kill Demerzel. He hasn't got
no,
enough knowledge about her robotics to do anything about it. Plus, she's like the most trusted. She's always been. She's always
yeah,
been there. She'll always will be.
yeah.
Right?
But
Yeah.
I thought he would have attempted
Yeah.
it, but like, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens because this sort of sequence all ends up sort of,
Mm.
we don't really see much more in the future after this. But yeah, that was really cool. She was just like, no, you're an
Yeah.
arsehole. I'm leaving. I've got things to do. And like you say, it's probably that she realizes someone's in the room. She's got a
Might
message
be.
from the Cleon. Yeah, I didn't notice that. That makes more sense than sort of the spaces are like, oh, we need your help, or something like that. Um,
Oh, the other thing I noticed about Salva and the guy fighting is that she uses some sort of modified, like the gun drill they do, when they've got a rifle and they're doing that,
yeah.
parades. She kind of uses a few moves,
Oh,
yeah, like
swingy
that,
moves.
kind of little. Wasn't very obvious, but because I've watched Cradle, I was going to say Cradle of Filth then, but that's a band. No, Cradle of Life. So I've gone off a tangent again.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, you don't. Tomb Raider, Angelina
Cradle of
Jolie
life.
circa.
Yeah,
So the second one, she does it
cradle
in
of life.
that.
Does what?
She
Oh, what,
uses the
spinny thing
gun
with the gun.
drill.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh God, I think she does. Yeah,
yeah.
It's fucking pants. I'm not watching that film ever again.
No.
I didn't mind the first one.
Yeah, the first one was all right.
Yeah, the modern ones
It's
are
terrible,
terrible.
but it's,
Yeah, the modern ones are really bad. Have you seen them? It's just fucking insufferable people. It's like, anyway, oh, fuck's sake.
Hober Mallow provokes Day. What did he say to him? He said something about gelded. You gelded bastards. I thought was a good line.
Yeah, he brings him out of the cell, doesn't he? He says, "Come and watch your planet get fucked up."
Yeah.
Which he does do. So it's like really cool. You see on the planet, they're all looking up and they're all like, "Okay, that's not good." Because like you can clearly see this colossal fucking thing coming towards you, and it's like that's not stopping. So they're all kind of like, so I think someone in the background chants, "Run for cover," and it's like, what's the point?
I don't
You know
think
what I mean?
the cover's going to cut it. Yeah.
There's a really funny moment when like Sir Mac and his husband, Constance's parents, are like, and like he's been stabbed, right? So he's still alive. He's holding on. And he's like, "Oh fuck," or something, words to that effect. And his husband pulls out that hip flask, and he's just like, "Yeah, fucking," because like it's him drinking a lot in the last episode. He's just like, "Yeah, whatever, have your fucking medicine, man, have a fucking drink." Do you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. I thought that was quite funny. Giving him booze the last moments of your life.
Really good effects. You see
really good effects. We see poor Polly outside the vault, which is like, he's standing there surrounded by all those flags, which I thought was quite poignant, and he's looking up at the vault, which is
full
like
circle.
his whole life. Yeah, full circle, exactly.
Yeah. And he's sort of on his knees in front of the vault, and I think Harry could fucking save his life and blast off from the planet.
That is true. He could have done, couldn't he? Maybe he did.
I don't know, because
I don't think so, because we saw
I saw the big spinny singularity nightmare hit.
So what happens to the vault then? I wonder. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't even know if the vault would be,
if it would survive, how it would affect the other radiant.
It's a fucking exploding singularity.
Yeah,
it destroys a planet. I don't know if the vault could survive that.
I don't know. Will it be interesting to see?
But if I was in the vault, I'd bring Polly in.
Yeah, I would. I'd be like, "Polly, quickly." And then just he's about to get there, go, "Nah," shut the doors.
No, you couldn't.
No, I wouldn't do that. That's terrible.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, so we see the kind of, I was actually thinking while I was, just before that it crashed, like, what would that look like? Would it sort of make the planet sort of suck in like that?
It did a little bit.
Yeah, it sort of dipped in, like the bit where the stalk is on an apple, it sort of like folds in a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like fucks everything, and literally the planet is literally just in like 3 or 4 massive pieces now. Like, there's no fucking way anyone survived that.
No.
Unless the vault is sort of impervious somehow, but that would just be floating around in space now or something. So they're all dead.
Yeah.
I don't think their little personal auras are going to help them with that at all.
I don't know if Dusk and Dawn would appreciate that kind of move on Day's behalf, because it's over the fucking top. Let's face it. He could have got all of them people arrested, took them back to Trantor or whatever. It didn't have to be such a ridiculous, destructive thing.
But I think it's sort of telling that we see, like, everyone, Bel Rios is like, fucking hell, because he's proper, like, he was on the verge of breaking that order to do it, but he's like cut up constant, and he's cut up because you just seen her 2 dads drunkenly dying,
and her home planet,
yeah, exactly. So it's all really emotional, and the greatest, the last scene is just Days just like that. He's like, yeah, this is fucking brilliant.
Great, let's do it again.
He's like, look at that. It's a fantastic.
Look what I did. Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Proper really proud of himself.
So proper, like, I mean, it's weird how it's so cool. I think his character's just like, he's gone from he's sort of like, again, gone back to like being a bit of a spoilt brat, but like he's really been hurt now, by sort of Demerzel. So Christ knows what.
It's such a stupid move as well, though, because like once all the planets, find out. I mean, you can't keep that quiet, and they're just going to be like, "Fuck this guy." you know.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I don't know what happens in the books, but like, I mean, obviously, so there must be, because they have other planets in league with
Mm.
Foundation now, don't?
Well,
Yeah,
Anacreon, thespian,
yeah,
and then there was like loads of him, and then you've got Savannah, which is kind of like
and they've got some others that
Wild
they've sort
West,
of
sort
like,
of 1800s sort of
yeah.
planet.
So like probably, hopefully, the knowledge that they've got has been sent out and stuff. So it's not like the end of
Mm.
Foundation. It's just the end of this part of Foundation. I'm sure a lot of people have read the books and know exactly what's going to happen. It's really obvious, but you've read them, but I can't remember. I did, but I
I
can't
can't
remember.
remember.
It was a long time ago when I was
I know I
young.
like concepts. Like I knew maths was like magic. It was so advanced, and there was an emperor, but like it was such a long time ago that I don't remember. I don't know where it's going.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah, and I'm
so,
kind of I'm trying to keep it that way as
I want to
well.
keep it fresh because it's so exciting. It's such a good
I
series.
I was
Why
looking
can't
up.
they? Why can't they make other things like this?
I hope they will because I think it's a really popular show.
Mm.
Do you know
It's
what
a
I mean?
classic.
It is a really it's one of the best sort of sci-fi series I've seen for a very long time. It's
Mm.
really, do you know what I mean? That stuff. I think the fact that I know they've made changes to the story,
Mm.
like quite major changes, but I think the fact I'm not so caught up in the original story is really good for me because I can really enjoy
Mm.
it. I honestly would probably be one of those people like, oh, they fucking ruined this. That person's not a bloody woman. Why have they done that? Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
It's like,
I mean, I
you
get
know,
it, but like,
yeah, I get it
you
too,
you
and it's
can't
like,
take away from the fact that this series is fucking brilliant.
yeah,
And
if they'd have done all that shit and then put in loads of like filler episodes where we just see sort of like, you know, people talking about how they love each other and stuff, and like nothing
people
happens, you know
talking
what I
in
mean?
rooms, yeah.
Talking about how injustice is so prevalent, and it's just like, God, okay, right, now we know what's happening. It's people, writers talking about their own problems, and
Mm.
they just haven't touched any of that. It's been fucking awesome.
There's a
um,
re-
you know it's like if they could all these other shows that are having their shows absolutely slated,
yeah.
on the internet, and rightly so. They should all take a fucking, a leaf out of these writers' books.
The
That it isn't
writers are
about you. It
fucking
isn't about
great.
you.
The
It's about,
dialogue's good. Like even when a Hober, okay, what's his name? Belrios saying goodbye to his husband,
yeah,
and his husband's just really, because he loves him, they love each other. He just tries to make it as easy as possible for Belrios
yeah,
to take. It's such a sad moment.
yeah.
And they mention this Ducem, the book that they got from Tavenna or Tavenna, that planet, the back in the day sort of planet, and
Hmm.
and oh, I'm gladly conquered. That
Oh,
was such a nice
yeah.
moment. I feel a bit,
Oh
yeah.
God.
Oh no,
Yeah, but he's
but
dead now, so
yeah,
it's all right. Um,
yeah,
yeah, no, it was really, really good, that whole moment.
yeah,
And again, it was like, I mean, in a lot of shows they put in sort of stuff about relationships, and I'm not talking about fucking gay or straight relationship. It doesn't matter.
yeah. It doesn't, yeah.
But they
Human
they put
relationships.
relationships in that don't forward the story.
Mm,
The point of this is that it forwards the story because, like, you have, these people who are like totally dedicated to each other,
mm,
and like it's going to affect his decisions. Like, it's
mm.
totally going to affect his decisions in the future. Like, we
He's
all
had
know
it
that.
now.
Yeah,
That's
because
it. That's
he's a
it.
loose cannon anyway. Although he
You
toes the line.
made
He's
me kill my husband. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Fuck
as well
you.
as
Yeah.
all these other people. You made me do it. Like, there's just no fucking way
No
he's going to
fucking
sit
way.
back and do nothing. He'll get his chance. So
Yeah.
it's relevant to the story. If they just had an
You're
episode where it
right.
was just them two sitting around talking about how they met and all that shit, and then you sort of go, what was that all
Yeah.
about? It would be pointless.
Yeah, they
I
didn't even
hate shows.
touch that, and it doesn't. It's not necessary to touch that. They're both in the army, or little sailors, aren't they?
Yeah.
But so you can kind of feel that shit in yourself, and obviously they've got this connection and they're in love and all that. But yeah, it's not over the top. Like with the fighting with Salva, you knew that this he's too fucking strong. And she kills him using her wits rather than her physical strength. That's totally believable. She doesn't, pull out some feng shui and kicks ass. Do you know what I mean?
Feng Chu?
I made it up. I don't know. It might
Fuck
be a
is
thing.
Feng Chu?
The only question I've got is who's got the fucking radiant now? I know that Gale and Salve have got their one, but it looked to me that Day picked up the
He did.
the prime radiant, and I'm not sure if
But then it's weird because the radiant inside the vault sort of is the radiant, isn't it? It's sort of. I think we were
well,
confused about this before. It's sort of like,
no, it's one item, but it's in
yeah,
two places.
yeah,
It's
exactly. But one's inside the vault, sort of inside the radiant in a way, isn't it?
But the one that Gale got, they could use their radiant to spy on the other radiant, which is inside the Empire. They could do that.
Inside the Empire.
Well, yeah, because Day had the other copy, the other.
Oh, did he?
Well, Day picked it up. So Harry,
I see what you're saying. I
yeah,
thought you were talking about like earlier on in the show.
yeah,
But
no, but I mean, like, no, later on, like they could use it to spy on the Empire, or Demerzel could use it to spy on Gale and Salville, but I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, so I want
if
to
the
know
vault's so if the
who's
vault's
got that.
destroyed, then they won't be able to do that. Sort of.
Yeah, God,
Yeah.
what a
So
great
yeah, it's
episode.
a bit confusing. But yeah, it was really good. So yeah, it ends with Day sort of like, hey, smiling his head off. Demerzel's proper like, I don't know, like she looks sort of dangerous at this point.
Well, when I was going back and I watched it, and she goes to that, the three women planet thing, religion, and she has to kill off Zephyr Halima, who she's obviously got a lot of, she kind
Yeah,
of loves her sort of thing. I think that was the seed that, I mean, obviously Demerzel's a slave anyway,
yeah,
but sort of Day made her kill Halima,
yeah,
and that would really piss you off. So there's that
yeah.
as well.
I think we're gonna, at some point. I mean, there's only one episode left, so like, I'm
Mm,
hoping that we get a bit of, but sort of from Demerzel's point of view, rather
yeah.
than the lies she's been telling to, because all that stuff in that opening sequence was really, really cool, all that
Mm-hmm.
backstory. But it's kind of she's telling him what is she wants him to hear rather than actually the truth, I think. So I think
Mm.
there may be more to it, I mean, she may be a fucking homicidal maniac, and it was damn right that they locked her up because she thinks human beings are a scourge and should all be killed. I mean, it could be something like that.
That's
But
too simplistic, isn't it?
it is, it is, yeah. So, but I'm hoping
Because
there's more sort of,
this, oh, sorry, just to bang on about it, but like Zephyr Halim has said to Demerzel, I think you've got a soul, and she again made it easy for Demerzel to kill her. She said, "I forgive you,"
yeah,
and it was sort of a big moment. And if Demerzel's into that religion, it's just it'd be so against her wishes to do anything like that. So
yeah.
I think that would be where the starting point for this. Let's fuck about with the genetic dynasty. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
I think
know.
she's been
It's
mucking
just
around.
all,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I mean, we don't know really with her how long back it all when she decided, right, I'm not having this anymore. I'm going to start to change their DNA so that
Mm,
eventually they won't be able to command me because their genetic code will be so different. The inhibitor thing just won't work. So I mean,
yeah.
that sort of explains why she's been mucking around with them. Eventually, she's going to go, yeah, it was me, all along, and like, yeah, it was me, you bloody humans. I'm going to kill you all, replace you all with microwaves. We'll see. But I think, yeah, I mean, well, that's the end of the end. So absolutely loads happened. Fucking loads of people
Loads. I might
got
watch it
killed.
again.
So Foundation is gone. Demerzel is sort of like pissed off. Buggered off back to Trantor.
Mm,
Dawn and Dusk are trapped. Day's gloating over his sort of rubble in
great.
space.
Yeah. I almost used his face, but it's such an obvious thing to use in a thumbnail.
Yeah.
So
And then,
yeah.
So yeah, it's all like basically sort of, oh right, that's all done. Back to Trantor then for tea and crumpets, and you know, so you see what happens then. You know, so there's got to be
Can't wait to see what Barrios does.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he could just bloody pilot his ship into the fucking what's left of the planet himself right now, couldn't he? But like, he wouldn't do that.
The other thing I thought about that as well is if he did refuse the order there, it would have been quite bad for, well, just for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons I thought was because now his crew know that he's had to take that order, knowing that his husband would die. And now his crew would be fully behind him.
I think Demerzel anticipated it, sort of in a way. You know, I think she did say, you know, I chose you for a reason. I think she knew that he would be able to be prompted, you know, to sort of rebel, which I think is what he's going to do. I don't know.
Fuck, we've been on talking for ages.
Talking's fun.
Yeah. Do your impression of Day laughing about the destruction of the planet again? I quite
Did
like
I
that.
do an impression? I think he was just like, hey.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we should call yeah. Yeah, selfie. Yeah. Yeah, we probably should leave it there then.
Yeah,
I can't wait for the next one.
Sticking it up on his Insta. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
A great episode. Well,
it was great. Really,
fantastic
really well
job.
done.
Yeah,
they're all brilliant. It's just got better and better this season. You know, I mean, it started off pretty well, but like you know, but there was a few worrying bits in the first couple of episodes.
I wasn't sure where they were going with it, but yeah.
But then it's just got back to the main things. It's really cool. Everyone's just like, it's weird because my allegiances sort of change, you know, like with Empire totally. Even the same incarnations and like the old dusk fart, you know, the old fart. I kind of sympathise with this one a little bit, but only because he seems more doddery, like he's actually an old man rather than, you know, it's like, so it's weird. I feel different ways about each character, good and bad, which is great because that's what you want. You know, you don't just want someone who's perfect all the time.
So good.
But yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So and there's one more left. That's it.
Yeah.
And then I don't know anything about season 3. We probably won't see a season 3 for a while because of the Hollywood writers' strike and shit. So probably at least a couple of years. But I can't see a reason why they wouldn't get it because I think it's great.
No, yeah, it's fantastic. It should get prizes. It should get prizes. It's really well done.
I think it's a shame, because I think with all that writer strike shit, all the sort of award ceremonies and stuff and things like that, they're all sort of shut down as well. I think.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So maybe it's not getting.
Even if it's going to be a couple of years, it'll be 2005 by the time they get season 3 out.
2005.
Well, you know, in 2025.
Yeah. Honestly, going back in time.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice? Yeah.
Anywho.
So yeah, we still got one more. So
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll see you later then.
Yeah. See you next time. Let's do it again. Cheery, bye.
Bye.
Bye.